Hi, welcome back. This is my seventh video regarding the Kerala PSC Assistant Professor in Commerce examination. Today I would like to discuss about accounting for price level changes or inflation accounting, which is coming under the module 6 of revised syllabus of KPSC. So, inflation accounting or accounting for price level changes are developed due to the limitations of historical cost accounting. That is, conventional accounting based on historical cost has outlived its utility when prices are changing frequently due to there is a tremendous changes in the general price level. Historical cost accounting suffers various limitations. So, in order to overcome this kind of limitations, inflation accounting or accounting for price level changes has developed. So, what do you mean by inflation accounting? Inflation accounting is a system of accounting which regularly records all items in financial statements at their current value. The system recognizes the fact that the purchasing power of money is decreasing day by day during inflation and find out profit or loss, or states the financial position on the basis of current prices prevailing in the economy. So, this is the meaning of inflation accounting. It is a system of accounting. Here we are recording the financial transactions at their current market value. And also the system recognizes the fact that the purchasing power of money is decreasing day by day during inflationary condition, and also the profit or loss or the financial position on the basis of this prevailing price can be in the economy. So, why we are going for inflation accounting, or what are the objectives behind the accounting for price level changes or inflation accounting? The first objective is that to give effect to the changes in purchasing power caused by inflation by measuring the real income and expenses during an accounting period. Then second one, to provide a better basis of inter-period comparison of financial statements. So, for this reason, we need to develop another branch of accounting or another contemporary issues in accounting like inflation accounting. The next, what are the approaches of inflation accounting? First one, CPPA, that is current purchasing power accounting. Then CCA, current cost accounting, and SGPLA, specific and general price level accounting. Then what do you mean by CPPA, current purchasing power accounting? In CPPA, that is current purchasing power accounting, the historical cost accounting data are adjusted on the basis of any established and approved general price index at a given date. In India, the wholesale price index of RBI can be taken, which shows the changes in the value of rupee in the past years. This method takes into account the changes in the value of items as a result of general price level only, but it does not account for changes in the value of individual item. That is, in the current purchasing power accounting, here the historical cost accounting data are adjusted on the basis of an established standard rate. In India, it is taken as a wholesale price index of RBI. So, this method, that is current purchasing power accounting methods, take into account only the general price level changes in the economy, but doesn't take into account the changes in the individual value of an item. So, this is one of the important limitation of current purchasing power accounting, that is, it does not take into account for changes in the value of individual item. The second approach is that current cost accounting, that is CCA. This method takes care of changes in the value of money, but it does not account for changes in the value of individual item. The value of an item may be increased on the basis of general price index, whereas the actual value of that item might have decreased. To remove this drawback, the UK government set up a committee known as IAC, that is Inflation Accounting Committee, under the chairmanship of Mr. Francis Sandlands to consider the problem of price level accounting. In its report published September 1975, they recommended the adoption of current cost accounting for dealing with the problems of inflation accounting. Here, historical values of an items are not taken into account, rather current values of individual items are taken as the basis for preparing the profit and loss account and balance sheet. So what do you mean by current cost accounting, CCA? Here, this method also taking into account the general price level changes and does not take into account the individual price level changes as in the case of CPP method. The value of an item may be increased on the basis of general price level index, but the actual value of that item might have been decreased. So this is one of the important drawback of this current cost accounting, that is the value of an item may be increased on the basis of general price index, whereas the actual value of that item may be decreased. So in order to remove this drawback, the UK government set up a committee known as Inflation Accounting Committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Francis Sandlands to consider the problem of price level accounting. So as per the recommendation of this committee, they are using instead of historical value of an item, we need to take into account the current cost value of an item for preparing the profit and loss account and balance sheet. This is about the current cost accounting method. Then next third approach is that SGPLA, specific and general price level accounting. That is, this approach is the combination of current cost accounting and current price level changes accounting. Financial statements are prepared by combining the factors of CC and CPP. Here, that is the under specific and general price level accounting. Here, the financial statements are prepared by combining the factors of the above said two methods, that is current cost accounting and current purchasing power accounting. This approach taken into consideration both the changes in specific prices of individual items and the influence of general price level changes. This is one of the important drawback of CC and CPP is that both this method do not take into account the individual price level changes, but under this method, that is specific and general price level accounting, here this approach taken into consideration both changes in specific prices of individual item as well as the influence of general price level changes. Under this method, values shown in financial statements are based on current cost and are measured in units of purchasing power. Under specific and general price level accounting, the values shown in the financial statements are based on current cost as well as and they are measured in units of purchasing power also. This approach of accounting has not become popular because it has not been proposed so far by any institutional body as other approaches like CC and CPP have been recommended by the institutional bodies. This approach of accounting has not become popular because it has not been proposed so far by any institutional body as other approaches have been recommended by the institutional bodies. So these are the approaches of inflation accounting. Then next I would like to discuss about the advantages or what are the benefits of inflation accounting. First benefit is that historical accounting tends to inflate the profit because less depreciation based on historical cost of assets is charged. But here depreciation is charged on current values of assets and hence this problem can be avoided. That is, in the case of inflation accounting, depreciation is charged on the current values of fixed asset, and so the problem of exhibiting the exaggerated profit can be avoided. The next second benefit is that under inflation accounting, it helps to maintain fixed asset intact because sufficient funds are made available for replacement of fixed asset. In the sense that Inflation accounting helps to maintain the physical capital or fixed asset intact, because here the sufficient funds are made available for the replacement of fixed asset when they are worn out by charging depreciation on their current values. Here the depreciation is charged on the current values of the fixed asset, and hence sufficient funds are made available for replacing the fixed asset. Then third advantage is that balance sheet exhibit a true and fair view of the state of affairs, since the assets are shown in the current values. Then fourth is that inflation accounting helps in making better comparison of profitability of the two plans set up at different dates, because current values and not historical cost will be taken for comparison purpose. Since the current values are shown, we have to make the comparison of two plans which are purchased on different dates at different prices. Then next most advantage is that employees, shareholders and public are not misled, because inflation accounting shows only the current profit based on current price and not exaggerated profit, which induce them to claim for higher wages and dividends. Since under inflation accounting, depreciation is charged on the current price of an assets, or current prices are shown, and so the exaggerated profit is current profits based on current price and not exaggerated profit. But in the case of historical accounting, there is an exaggerated profit. But here no such cases which induce them to claim for higher wages and dividends. In the case of historical accounting, there is a need for exaggerated profit, since the depreciation is based on historical cost or original cost of the asset, and so the employees, shareholders, public are claiming higher wages and dividends. But in this case, under inflation accounting, depreciation is charged not on historical or original cost of the value of asset, but on the current values of asset. And so the shareholders, employees and publics are not for claiming higher wages and dividends. Then next is that what are the limitations or drawback of this inflation accounting. First one is that charging depreciation at current values of fixed asset is not acceptable to the income tax authorities. That is, the income tax authorities do not recognize for charging depreciation at current values of fixed asset. The next drawback or limitation is that adjusting the accounts to changing price is never-ending process, because prices go on changing every day. Since the prices are subject to changes every day, the adjusting the accounts to this changing prices is never-ending and tedious process. Then third limitation is that distribution of unrealized profit as dividends amounts to erosion of capital, which is not desirable. That is, in the sense that the profit disclosed by a system of price level accounting, or the profit disclosed through inflation accounting is by taking items at current values is not realistic profit, and therefore to that extent it should not be distributed as dividend. And that is why distribution of unrealized profit as dividend amounts to erosion of capital, which is not desirable. So to conclude, inflation accounting has been engaging the attention of accounting authorities of almost all the countries in the world in the recent past. In the absence of legal provision for inflation accounting, recommendations have been made by the accounting authorities for preparing supplementary statements. To make inflation accounting more popular, government should amend the Companies Act to make presentation and audit of supplementary accounts compulsory. Keeping in view the practical difficulties and absence of legal provision, historical cost accounting still serves as fair and adequate basis for reporting corporate performance. Still, more research is needed in inflation accounting before it is adopted throughout the world. Thank you.